Hi students. Now in our previous video we learned how to find the percentages of given quantities without using a calculator, and the last part of the video got cut off, so we're going to redo that last problem. All right, so this is part 2 of finding percentages of given quantities. All right, now if it is that you did not watch the part 1, I advise that you do so, because in this video I'm going to be moving a bit faster to cover the concept. So if you have not watched that first video, go ahead and do it now. All right, so we're following the steps, writing the percentage as a fraction. So we go ahead, write 20% as a fraction. And step 2, multiply the fraction by the number that we want to find the percentage of. In this case, it is 985. Step 3 is to simplify. So we're going to divide through by 10 first, because both the numerator and denominator end with 0. So 10 into 20 goes 2 times. 10 into 10 goes, 10 into 100 goes 10 times. We cannot divide through by 10 again because both the numerator and denominator do not end with 0. All right, so they are not multiples of 10. Is there any other number that we can use to divide through this fraction? Yes, we can use 2. We can use 5. All right, let's use 2. It depends on you. 2 into itself goes 1 time. 2 into 10 goes 5 times. Is there anything else that can be simplified? Can you think of a factor that can go into both the denominator and the numerator at the same time? Yeah, 5. This number ends with 5, so we can divide through by 5. So we cannot, should not, never, ever, ever cancel the 5s at the end. It does not work the same way as it does when we're dividing through by 10. Do not cancel this 5 and say, okay, 5 into 985 goes 98 times. That is incorrect. We do not do it as when we're dividing by 10, all right? Good. It only works, we only cancel zeros at the end when we're dividing through by 10. We do not cancel any numbers at the end for any other division problem. Good. Awesome. So 5 into 5 goes 1 times. Remember, we find a factor that goes into both the denominator and numerator at the same time. All right. So 5 into 5 goes 1 times. 5 into 985. Since it's a very lengthy number, we're going to do 1 digit at a time, starting at the left, starting at the hundreds place. So 5 into 9 goes how many times? How many times 5 going to 9? 1 time, with a remainder of how much? 4. That remainder we carry it over to the next place, which is the tens place. All right. So this now becomes 48. 5 into 48 goes how many times? What's the highest number? What's the closest number to 48 that 5 can go into? 45, right? So 5 into 45 goes 9 times. So that would mean 5 into 48 goes 9 times with a remainder of 3. Very good. 5 into 35. Come on, let's say our 5 times. 5 into 35, how much times? How many times? 7 times. Awesome. 5 into 985 gives us 197. Very simple. All we're doing, we're dividing. All right. Notice that when I wrote the original problem, I did not put it over 1, because as I said, 985 is the same thing as 985 over 1. I just put it over 1 for you to notice that the 985 is the numerator. All right? I'm just pointing that out here. All right, now that we've simplified to our lowest terms, let us see what we have left. We have a 1 here, and we have the 197 here, and we have a multiplication sign. So that means that we're going to take our 1 and multiply it by 197. And 1 times 197 gives us 197. Notice I did not, the denominators are 1. So anything over 1 is itself. So I did not bother to rewrite the denominator. Let's try our second example. Find 16% of 675. 16%, write the 16 out of 100. 16% of 675. Put our multiplication and put our 675. Now in this example, we can put our 675 over 1. In this example, can we divide through by 10? Can we divide both a numerator and the denominator by 10? Let's look on our numerators. Does this numerator end with 0? No. Does this numerator end with 0? No. So since only the denominator ends with 0, we cannot divide both numerator and denominator by 10. We could try dividing through by 2 or dividing through by 5, but let me take this approach instead. Instead of trying to simplify and do the long way that I did on the yellow square, let's use this approach. Instead of simplifying first, let us try to multiply across and simplify last. So what do I mean? We take our 16 and we multiply it by the 675. All right, since there's a multiplication sign between the two fractions, we are going to multiply numerator with numerator, like so. All right, and multiply denominator by denominator. This is a second approach that we're using. All right, so let's go. Multiplying the numerator by the numerator, 16 times 675, and multiplying our denominators would give what? 100 times 1. All right, and what would this give us? 16 times 675. What does that give us? All right, you could just use your calculator to do that, guys. We learned how to multiply using 2 digits already. So 10,800, and the denominator would be 100. Now it's easy for us to simplify, right? It's easy for us to simplify here. So we know that zeros would cancel zeros. 0 cancel 0. We're dividing through by 10. 0 cancel 0. And what do we have left? Now we would have, we take out this comma here, and we're just left with 108. All right, so when we solve, we can just erase this comma, . and that leaves us with 108. I apologize for that. Eraser was too big. All right, and that's the answer. And this is how we simplify or solve problems involving percentages. All right, part 3, I will show you how to do part 3, which will be much more easier than this, where you can use a calculator. All right, look out for that video. Thank you. Take care.